Welcome to Norse Code, the #1 podcast for your Minnesota Vikings. I'm your host with the most, Dusty O'Connell. Joining me this week, our customary co-host, analyst, Vikings blogger extraordinaire, writes at websites such as 1500ESPN.com and what's the other one? Oh yeah, coldomaha.com. And what's the other thing we call you? Oh yeah, you're a generally useful human who was on holiday vacation and was kind enough to set up his entire rig in his brother's, I guess upstairs bathroom or something for this podcast.
Not a bathroom, man. But yeah.
So, Arif Hassan is your name, if I'm not mistaken.
You're really on the ball with this. What websites you write for? What do we call you? What's your name?
I am a media professional, and I'm actually generally more correct than David Brooks, but that is neither here nor there.
Well, y'all are like new to each other, right? So I
don't know who that guy is.
Give it some time.
I've heard tell on the streets, though, that joining us also this week is Norse Code's least valuable player, and yet still one of our favorite guests to have on every time the old Vikings come to play the Packers. Unless, of course, the entire episode is sabotaged by mysterious technical errors that tend to only happen when he is on the show. Most famous for Force players, but there's like a sports betting podcast and some other stuff he does. Justis Mosqueda is here. How you doing, Justis?
We're doing great. I'm in Oregon right now, and I've seen snow on the ground every day for like the past 3 weeks, so I can't wait for that to be done.
Really?
Dude, you had to pick up your brother from an airport. The airport's an hour away? What is this?
I don't live in Portland. I live in Hood River. It's like 45 minutes away, probably. Yeah.
So the closest airport that people like actually fly to is Portland.
Yeah, I have more Twitter followers than there are people in Hood River, like in the city of Hood River.
Does anyone in Hood River know who you are?
Yeah, a couple people follow me and they think it's super weird, and then they're like, "Yeah, it's a very odd dynamic." And then it's like I coach football down there too, so it was like they're like,
"Oh, do you kids know your Twitter account?"
Oh fuck no, I don't think they know what Twitter is still, because that's the thing about Hood River is people still like don't know what like Twitter is. Like people have like Snapchats and like Instagrams and stuff and like Facebooks, and they'll try to like friend me on that, right? Because they just like know my name, and I just like immediately just reject and block. But if they found my Twitter, man, I don't even know what would happen. Because I've tweeted about these kids before.
What, you ain't trying to see your kids' Snap stories?
A coach... No, I'm not trying to see that at all. No, I want no parts of that at all. But I have had a coach DM me one time and ask if I was coming because I was late to the bus. I live like 5 minutes away from the high school, so I took my time. And he DM'd me. He was like, "Yo, you coming today or what?" Like, oh, shit.
Were you tweeting at the time? Were you like firing off texts?
Dude, I sent a tweet like 2 minutes before you did that too.
Oh.
Yeah, it was fucking bad. It's like, dog, yo, what are we doing?
No,
and the thing is, like, I played in this weird conference. Like, if you look at 5A Oregon OSAA conferences, Hood River, basically our closest opponent is like 3 hours away.
Oh my god!
Wow, yeah, because we're in a weird spot where we don't like. Basically, there's two like. No one wants to listen to this. There's two schools in like the middle of nowhere, and then there's schools in Bend, which is like probably like the third largest, I guess you'd call it, like metro area in Oregon, and that's 3 hours south of us. But we're 45 minutes away from Portland, but for some reason we have to go play these schools in the middle of nowhere, like 3 hours.
That's because the Portland schools can play each other. How far away are you from the federal building that was taken over by terrorists?
That was in that was the Bend one, but it's not like actually in Bend. Like it's further out. It's like 4 or 5 hours probably.
Oh my god.
That place is bumfuck. Look, here's the thing about.
Well, yeah, you've already.
I know. I already did it. I'm sorry. I asked for forgiveness, not permission. So if you go like anywhere east of Hood River, it's basically Idaho, and I'm probably like an hour away from the 2 hours away from the coast, an hour and a half away from the coast.
So are you close?
Oregon's very different. You guys think of it as a blue state, but it's like that's because Portland has more than half of the population in the state. The rest of it, oh boy.
Well, it actually takes me back to like high school when we would have one speech tournament a year where we had to drive 7.5 hours by bus to the opposite edge of North Dakota.
I am so good. So the schools are redistricting, right? In 2018, and one of the schools in the middle of nowhere has to move up to 6A. But the problem is, there's the only other schools in 6A are all in like either Eugene or in Portland. So their closest conference opponent is like 5 hours away.
Oh my god!
And that's for all sports. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Fuck Oregon, man.
That's ludicrous. Y'all need to get on the like conglomerated schools approach. Like Dilworth, Glendon, and Felton all have one football team that they share, so they don't have to travel as far.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but yeah, I agree. It's pretty stupid, man. As a coach, I was like frustrated because I help coach JV too, which is on Thursdays, and my gambling article comes out on Thursday nights. So I'm trying to do like this while spending 6 hours on a bus and spending 3 hours at a game, right? I'm like, yo, man, I'm losing days. I'm losing days for this.
Do you write while you're on the bus?
Absolutely have. Yep, because I'm trying to ignore half the coaches.
How do you get?
I really only liked one of the coaches on the JV team. The other two I hated kind of. So I'd try to like ignore them, and then the other one was like, yo, do you know anyone who could like get? Because he had just moved from Texas, right? And he had coached. He's got crazy stories too, because he played O-line for like the Ryan Leaf Wazoo team and stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah, we got stories. He coached with one of the dudes. He coached with a dude who played O-line on that Raiders Super Bowl team with Gruden.
Oh my god!
Or right after Gruden, before Gruden. I don't know. He played under Gruden and was on that Super Bowl team with a dude dipped to Mexico and shit like that. And he was like down there in Texas. Yeah. So he had just moved to Oregon. And he's like trying to figure out someone who will take like gambling lines and stuff like that. Like I told him that I wrote about gambling, and his face lit up.
He was like, "Will you be my friend?" That's great. Before we dive into the game preview and a small note of half fake, half real news, I guess we're doing better than the fully fake news that we exposed last week or earlier this week, I suppose. I do want to take a second and say thank you to everybody that has made Norse Code more financially successful than it's ever been, which basically just means that we don't have to pay any of our own money to push bits to you week in and week out. And if you would like to join the Norse Code storied community of donors, you can do so by making a one-time contribution in any amount you desire at paypal.me/NorseCode. Or, alternatively, you can become a recurring sponsor of the show at patreon.com/NorseCode. You can give as little as $1 a month. We have people that do that. You can give as much as $10 a month. We have people who do that. But we suggest a contribution of about $3.50, just to keep the Loch Ness Monster at bay. So thank you to everyone who has contributed and to all of those in the future who will. You've still got time to include us in your holiday plans, because we've included you in ours. On Christmas Day, if you're super tired of your family and what are there, 2 games on Sunday?
Sure.
Like if you're tired of the weird lack of football Sunday, then there will be a Norse Code clip show for you to listen to. I know we've already given you one, but we're enthusiastic. Well, we're actually so bad at this, we end up with a lot of outtakes, and so we would enjoy it if you would take a moment to listen. But that's on you.
It was kind of passive aggressive at the end. We would appreciate it, but I mean it's your choice.
But yeah, it's up to you. So
all right, let's talk about this game.
Well, actually, no. Before we do that, I wanted to get.
Do we have to? Oh
my God. Okay, well, we'll talk about fake news, I guess.
Well, this isn't really fake news because it's a real thing that's happening, but it was a little bit misattributed on Twitter. As the story was breaking, there was some confusion as to whether or not the NFL would have anything to do with the development league, the spring league that's apparently starting in 2017. And it turns out that no, the league has no dollars invested in it, but independent investors are, giving veteran players and free agents and otherwise lost miscreants like the Island of Lost Toys, a chance to play in a short spring league with not too many teams. There's probably a lot of good scouting opportunities there. I think it'll be a generally good thing for the league. But by turns, I wanted to get your thoughts on whether or not this will be a useful thing going forward.
I bet Justis has takes in developmental leagues.
Yeah, so I saw that after I woke up from my nap. That was one of the things I saw, and I was like, oh, damn, the NFL's actually going in on it. And then you read it, and it's like, absolutely not. We have no ties to this. These people are lying.
Hashtag fake news.
So these things don't ever work because no one wants to watch it.
Well, they don't.
Like it's just like if it doesn't get like an NFL cosign, right? And part of it too was they were talking about bringing in veteran free agents. Like you need to bring in the kids who get kicked out of school.
That's true. Well, okay, so
that's the easiest way to do it.
Here's two things, maybe one thing. I don't know. What? So there's the United Football League, there's the USFL, but not the one that's the 30 for 30, but like the one that came later that was worse. There's the FXFL, and remember there was Major League Football that had a bunch of independent investors, and then they all like pulled out.
Look, so Major League Football was supposed to have a team in Portland where they were going to hire Chris Miller as the head coach of the Portland team. And they never did that. And Chris Miller was like, I'm just going to keep coaching this high school team. Y'all have fun. Like, that league was so poorly managed. People talked about it like it was going to be huge. And he's like, I'm not even quitting this high school job because y'all have fun with this.
Well, yeah.
He also won state this past year.
They were like a couple of days away from like officially forming. And then all their investors like just pulled out. And they were just like, oh, we don't have any money. That's interesting. I guess we don't exist.
Yeah, I think I can't remember which one of it might have been that league where they were like, "Yo, we're gonna start a league. We're gonna do this. Like our season is a couple weeks away." And then they were like, "Yeah, they got like evicted from like their like building or something." And they're like, "Dude, you haven't paid anything here for like 3 months. What are you doing, man?"
Yeah, I think it was that league. Yeah. Oh my god. And the FXFL
is terrible. Look, it's really hard to start a football league.
No way. FXFL 1 was the one where Josh Freeman was the best talent they had, and Josh Freeman did. Like, he didn't show up to practices and stuff, and halfway through the FXFL, they stopped updating the stats on their websites. And they had, like, each team played a different amount of games. Like, they didn't have, it was just, like, a bunch of scrimmages.
I think they had, like, 4 teams, too, and, like, one of the teams was, like, a traveling team, so it was, like, super weird.
Yeah.
Super bad, man.
The idea was that you would experiment with rules, and the NFL would look at the way the rules worked out there and maybe adopt them, and obviously that didn't work. The difference...
The NFL's not listening. No one.
The difference with this one, and I'm not saying it's going to work, is that A, it's in the spring. USFL did well in the spring.
USFL had, like, TV contracts, though. Even
and they had Jim Kelly and Steve Young. I know, it's different. They had Herschel Walker. It's different. But...
You're going to leave Reggie White off of that?
Who? He's the one that hated gay people, right? Just putting it out there.
the one.
I don't know about that. I don't know about this.
But yeah, but they played in the spring is the thing. So this one is going to play in the spring. It's going to be better.
I guess, but so they're trying to get veteran guys, right?
Yeah.
And like, so who's going to join it? Like we see
Tiki Barber done.
Tiki Barber's in. Well, he needs the money, I think.
I don't know if he is actually in, but I can't imagine a scenario where he's not in.
Tiki Barber, probably Josh Freeman again, and Adrian Peterson.
If you're starting up a league, how fast do you call Manziel? Because that's the first call you got to make, right?
Yeah, that's the first. Yeah, I call Manziel at the same time.
I call Manziel before I start making the league. I call Manziel before I start the league.
You call Manziel halfway through your first soft season so that he can be there for the start of season 2. Because if you start your league with Manziel, then that's like a guarantee that no one will watch it and everyone will crap on it.
Oh, everyone's going to watch it. Are you kidding me?
We'll watch it. Oh, no. That's not how that works. People watch it.
Tell Johnny there's going to be Coke somewhere. He'll play like mad.
Okay, I got a better question for you.
People in minor league baseball, right?
How long do you wait till you call Tim Tebow?
Play football. You just get Tebow and Manziel, and you're like, you know what? We can do this.
But Tebow didn't want to play in the CFL.
Well,
but if man, it's cold.
If this is an NFL development league, then this is like a narrow open window. Like, you know what they say, right? God closes a door, but he opens a window. This is a narrow window back into God's calling for him, which is to be a quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, that's true. They need to have an evangelist make the call to Tebow because they'll speak the right language. Be like, yeah, God planted the seed of faith in you, and now you have $1 million, something like that.
No,
Podcasts get weird.
Well, I
getting.
I think I've made fun of, was it prosperity theology before on this podcast?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Creflo Dollar. His name is Dollar. How is
okay? So who do you get? You get Tebow, you get Manziel, you get Josh Freeman. Wow, this is great.
Okay, so we've got 3 quarterbacks and no position players.
Yo, you get a ton of. Oh my god,
position players aren't real, so
yeah, it doesn't matter. You probably get Jeff Janis. Who cares?
Oh, we get the German dude.
Oh yeah, you get Beringer. You probably get Chad Johnson. You get Deron Carter. He got cut from the CFL.
Randall Cobb in like spring. Yeah, he'll be out of a job by spring.
Randall Cobb.
Yeah.
Terrence Newman for season 2.
Would you? Okay, so let's say you're the second string quarterback on the CFL team. So basically, you're Vernon Adams, right? Do you do this, or do you keep playing in the CFL?
It's in America, man. Canada's cold.
Yeah, but they're paying you money. It's Canadian dollars, but it's money. You could use it to buy food.
But you're playing American football in Canada. Like, wouldn't you rather be closer to the
You're not playing American football in Canada. You're playing Canadian football in Canada.
Well, okay, you're playing the Canadian version. You're playing like the exchange rate version of American football in Canada. Like, wouldn't you
Isn't the Canadian dollar going down?
It's been going up, and who cares? It's
I don't know
Canadian
nothing.
dollar. Yeah.
But you want to be closer to the action, right? You want to be closer to
you get
scouts.
money. You can exchange that for goods and services. Are you like sure that the Spring Football League has that?
Absolutely not.
Well, and that's the big problem, right? Well, I mean, aside from like the apparent dearth of TV contracts, is the like big draw for the D League. And I mean, Justis, you nailed it right on the head when you said first that like what they should be doing is going after kids that got kicked out of school. Like the whole pull for this league for the players is the future promise of maybe some money.
Oh, you would get whoever the
just go after like JUCO guys, like go after kids who can't qualify for school and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you get.
I'm not opposed to paying like 18-year-olds, honestly.
The current, obviously not. The current version of is there a college current version of DGB? Is there like, but he can play? Right, somebody who's like a
Joe Mixon.
Oh, actually yes. Ooh, this league is gonna get weird fast, huh?
Yep.
Well, you probably would have.
I don't think there's really any JUCO guys. Like the big JUCO guys are like the quarterback who transferred out of Baylor because he just didn't want to deal with that situation.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you probably get what's his name? Crap, I already forgot it. Doesn't matter. But yeah, you get everybody else from that Netflix documentary, Eastern Mississippi College. You get all those people who didn't get to Nichols State or whatever. That actually sounds really fun, man.
Look, if you hire that head coach and keep the dog.
Wow, this league is gonna. I love this league. Let's do this. We should run it.
No, this league, as described by us, sounds awesome. Although,
you think you could get Jeremiah Mazzoli?
He's in Canada, right? Or is he playing in France or something?
Yeah,
I have no idea where
he's from California. No, he's in Canada, but he's from California.
Yeah, he's from like San Francisco or something.
Yeah, he went to San Mateo. He was born in San Francisco.
You can get Darren Thomas, another former Oregon quarterback who declared early and didn't get drafted, didn't end up in a camp. I don't even think he got a tryout, and he's been a backup quarterback in arena leagues, and I think he's in the indoor football league right now.
Dude, this league would be populated by so many quarterbacks and recruits, right? Because
Chip Kelly would be coaching them by like 18. So.
Yeah. Wow, this is great. We named a lot of quarterbacks, but we could get a bunch of Richie Incognitos and Kyle Longs and stuff like that, even if it's only for one season.
I hear Blair Walsh needs a job.
They'll get kickers.
What you got to do is this is the thing, is we got to market it to Kirk Herbstreit, right? The Kirk Herbstreits and Danny Kanell be like, look, you said you wanted to strap it up for one more game, right? Well, let's go do it.
It's a matter of honor
put
for you
money
to play
where your mouth is. Let's do this. Danny Kanell, who was a backup quarterback in the Arena Football League, and Kirk Herbstreit, who in like 350 attempts threw 5 touchdowns.
What's Randy Moss doing when he's not looking fine on Monday Night Football?
I guess he's playing in the Spring Football League.
We can hope. I love how Andy Carlson, the host of
Trent Dilfer's ego is pretty big too. Like if you just like, hey Trent, we're gonna make you a head coach. I think he'd be like.
All your co-hosts are leaving, bro.
No,
They're all going to play.
But like Trent has like really like he thinks he's got this really good niche. I think he just only wants to be a quarterbacks coach now.
Well,
like, he's like, yeah, that's my thing.
They're gonna need that.
They will.
So
he's gonna like robot some quarterbacks out of the league. This would be great.
Trent Dilfer, like low key,
is good now. He's a great analyst.
Well, he's got a lot of power that I don't think a lot of people understand. Because he's in control of that whole Elite 11 thing, and he's on Monday night.
He's in control of Elite 11?
Yeah, he runs all those camps. Like they like decide.
Oh my God.
So he's like, and when you look at how many NFL quarterbacks are like former Elite 11 guys, that dude basically gets to decide like who a lot of these college teams are focusing on. Like he's got a lot of power, man. I don't think people totally realize how much power he has.
I think both of us had basically no clue. we were both a little surprised to learn that. I enjoyed how Andy Carlson, host of A 3-Man Football Machine, was like retweeting himself from, what was it, like a year ago, 2 years ago, talking about how a league like this would be a really good idea. So I want to know whose ear he's speaking into.
I mean, but like, who hasn't tweeted out, "Hey, developmental football league would be a great idea"?
Is this
like I think literally?
Where would you put teams? Like you got to put places in like 4 cities, right? Where you putting them?
Chicago,
probably Miami, so that everybody could see all those high school players that couldn't make it to college.
Chicago, Dallas, Miami, and either LA or Seattle.
So you're not target. You're not. Don't put it in Seattle. Don't do that.
Whoa!
Okay. Don't do that. That's a soccer city. It's actually a basketball city. They just don't have a basketball team. We should just.
How is that?
Yeah, just call it the Seattle. Oh my God! You just call it the Seattle Sonics. Put it in Portland.
Holy shit!
The Seattle Subsonics.
Just the Portland Sonic. Portland, I believe, once. I guess San Diego's bigger, but once the Raiders move to Las Vegas, or Portland will be the largest city in the United States without a professional football team, and they have no urgency to get one.
No, but you do put it in Portland, and you just call it the Portland Seattle Sonics.
Well, that's how you get Portland people to fuck with it.
Yeah.
Is you call it the Portland Sonics, and then Seattle people get mad, and they're like, hell yeah, you know what? Yep.
Okay,
this is our team.
Yeah.
Okay, alternate map.
Friends, the 12th
I was a Portland Sonics fan since forever.
Alternate map.
Since day one.
Portland, Denver, New Orleans, New York.
But you stop putting them in places where there's like definitely football teams.
But there has to be a football team there because otherwise
there's no room in New York to play football games. Like New York City is the one city in the United States that you fly over and you don't see like a massive amount of football fields.
Okay, but I'm just going based on like they're going to need like practice facilities and like fields and things. Like what are they going to just like drop in with the kind of cachet to just like demand $1 billion for like a stadium and then eventually a Cowboys city like next door? Like no, it has to be built on existing
about
infrastructure.
Like putting it in like Miami is like a good like if you put it like Miami and like East Texas. Like you put in like Miami.
Oh
Houston,
yeah. You put them in
Miami,
all
Houston,
the places.
Put a team in San Diego. Play it in Qualcomm because like they're not doing anything there other than like,
right. Yeah, any team that's about to lose an NFL team, obviously. Maybe a couple of the biggest markets that don't have an NFL team, and then all the places all high school talent comes from, so that players can play for their home city, even though they like never academically qualified for college or whatever.
I'm with it.
Done. We're really good at this.
That was great. All right, so there's a football game on Saturday.
Christmas Eve, man.
He's never there.
Present early.
That is one of the most annoying things about the antitrust exemption. Like I would love it if just like weekends were like pro football and I didn't have to, waste my time either watching or as it is now not watching college football on a Saturday.
You're the Antichrist.
Yeah.
You don't like college football? What the hell is wrong with you, boy?
He lives in Denver.
I guess. Colorado had a good team.
Yeah, okay. Well, no, they were actually much better this year than they've been for the last 7 years that I've been a resident of this beautiful state.
Right, and Oregon stole that defensive coordinator right up under your nose.
I know. It's rude.
He's gone.
But anyway, Justice, your boys are playing our boys, and
yes, sir.
Y'all started looking like an actual football team in the last couple of weeks. Aaron Rodgers is an unknown quantity still, apparently, but it certainly helps that y'all figured out how to use Ty Montgomery.
Dude, we've been saying this on the podcast for a while. I know you believe this too, Justice. He's a running back, but now he's actually.
I wrote about it pre-draft. I wrote like a most underrated like sleeper deep piece basically, and my like slide on running back was like, look, Ty Montgomery should probably be playing running back. He's basically DeMarco Murray when you look at him from a athleticism standpoint, and he was too bulked up to really be a receiver anyway. So.
Yeah, he was he was too bulked up. He's not short, but he was short. And he ran like a 4.51. That's a great running back time. That's a great running back time.
Yeah, especially for his size. Like he's not like a scat back.
Yeah, he's like 220. So yeah. He's been averaging some absurd amount, but what's his average in this game, you think? Linval's playing. I think Harry's playing. Run defense gets better.
I don't know.
What do you think?
Probably.
How many carries does he get? 20? 10? 9?
Dude, I don't know, because like Starks got in like they got like fullbacks behind him. Like I think I don't know if James Starks scored last week. I don't even remember. But had a rushing touchdown by the running backs, like a true running back. Yeah, not good.
It's just Aaron, I guess, right?
No, they got like the fullback and then the fullback.
Yeah, Aaron Ripkowski. Aaron.
Oh yeah. I mean, you say Aaron like it's not Aaron Rodgers.
No, I said Aaron's plural. An S.
I believe Jeff Janis got a rushing touchdown before one of the true running backs on this team did, because of course he did.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I don't know. He probably gets like 4.5, something like that.
4.5 average, not 4.5.
4.5 carries.
Yards per game or yards per attempt? Yeah, I'd say like 4.5 is probably a good spot. How many attempts? I don't know. What's this game flow look like?
Well, I mean, how about you help determine that, man?
That's on you, man. We're specifically talking about Green Bay's offense here. What is the game flow going to look like?
I think it depends what your offense. Like, here's the thing: is this game is going to be dictated by what Minnesota's offense can do to Green Bay's defense more than the other way around.
So let's assume that it is nothing or a small thing, which has been generally true ever since the end of the initial win streak.
Well, then Green Bay will probably go up early and then start pounding the ball and trying to get the fuck out of the game.
So you don't think that Minnesota's defense can do stuff?
You guys have massively regressed on the edges. Like that's so for Bleacher Report, I watch all the NFC defensive ends, both 3-4 and 4-3 for the NFL 1000 project. So I'm able to see Minnesota's defensive ends on a week-to-week basis, and I think Everson Griffin probably played like his worst game this year last week, and like Brian Robinson is. I mean, he's a little hot and cold no matter what, right? Anyway.
So he had such a good game, like, was it 2 weeks ago? And then,
yeah.
And then,
That's what I'm saying. He's very hot and cold, and like usually Everson is the guy who you can kind of lean on, but he had a horrible game last week, and I just don't know if it's like age and like it being like this deep into the season and just quitting, just knowing that Sam Bradford's playing quarterback for you.
You have clearly delineated non-reasons.
Arif, how much was trading for Sam Bradford worth? Was it worth the first round pick?
Oh they get in the playoffs, probably was. You think Sean Hill's got this many wins? You think Sean Hill goes 9-7?
I don't know if he okay, hold up. He won the first game, right?
Yeah, against a bad Titans. That's not the same Titans team.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
Also, there were like two.
Does he go like 2-7? Does he go 2-7 down the line?
Probably.
Yeah.
He might go 1-6. I don't know, man. I don't think Sean Hill gets that close to Detroit, which is a really sad sentence.
Okay, so Minnesota has a 3% chance of making the playoffs, according to 538.
Yeah, 538's got 3%. I think Football Outsiders has 2%. So.
Okay, so. I'm going to ask you a question, right?
One's 50% more.
going into going into next year, anything under 5% is insignificant. Going into next year, y'all thinking about Sam Bradford or Teddy Bridgewater?
I'm thinking about Teddy. I think the team's thinking about Teddy. Dude, okay, so here's the thing about Sam Bradford. He was making reads, like he was doing quarterback shit, like earlier in the year. Like he moved off of his first read, went to the second read. He was able to like read a defense and then figure out that the defense was going to be different than what it looked like, and then throw that. And he just isn't doing that anymore. He's throwing to his first read. His first read's always short. There's like players open friggin' everywhere else. He's making all these difficult throws that are like he's making difficult short throws instead of easier long throws. And I don't really get that. And I understand that like people think like that Teddy is cautious, but he makes a bunch of throws between 15 and 19 yards, and Sam doesn't do that. And Teddy has an incredible third and long conversion rate. Like his third and long conversion rate's like 36%. The league average is like 30%. Sam's is 25%.
Okay, and how much of that is like due to watching Sam watch his offensive line go from starters to backups to backups to sometimes one or two layers below that, like throughout the course of just this season?
But he doesn't have a feel for it. He just has like a general understanding that the offensive line is bad. Like Teddy has a feel for it. Teddy like knows when the offensive line's breaking down and then reacts to it. Sam knows that the offensive line is prone to break down and reacts to that like imagined reality. So like he'll respond.
Even like that first start against Green Bay, like he looked like he was gonna die. Like he messed up his hand and everyone thought it was over. Like,
yeah, that was low key hilarious.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh yeah, of course.
It's like, oh, good things are happening. No, it's over. The rug is swept from underneath you.
You millennials are using low key in multiple contexts, and it's confusing my old person brain. Okay, but so seriously, does this mean that the choice on Teddy or Sam is predicated on Teddy's knee, like being healthy before the season? Like, do they like let's say that Teddy isn't fully like team approved, ready for rehab until week 3, week 4. Do we get Bradford until week 4 and then Teddy?
Oh, you guys are going to keep that contract if you're not going to play him? That's interesting.
Yeah, they're definitely going to do that. Do you see what they did with Adrian's contract?
And we might finally be free of that. Hopefully, maybe.
That's the fucky thing about this team.
How scared should I be of Adrian Peterson?
How scared do you think you should be?
Not at all, but that's
that's appropriate.
That's what frightens me. That's what frightens me. Is I'm like, yeah, no, he's not nothing. And then
don't worry about it. Just go to sleep.
Green Bay Packers
just
defense.
Go to sleep.
You're still traumatized by like his multiple consecutive 200-yard games from like 2012.
Yeah,
it's true. The last time he had a 150-yard game was like
if Devin Hester finds up,
don't talk to Vikings fans about Devin Hester. He scored, I think, like it's not that he scored more against the Vikings than any other team. But he scored the majority of his return touchdowns. Like more than half of his return touchdowns were explicitly, I think, against the Vikings. So don't tell me about Devin Hester, man.
Well, all right, silence. What happened? Did you disappear?
I'm right here, man.
Oh, okay. I was like, what happened?
I'm just saying. But yeah, I don't see. I see Adrian having his best game of the year and it being utterly pathetic.
I mean, really, like
that's usually what happens with Green Bay Packers games. It's just hey, we set a rushing gap. We set a rushing high. That's the one thing that confused the hell out of me is how the Packers had like a historically strong run defense like 5 weeks into the season, and I was like, I don't know about that. We got like 3 defensive tackles and like 3 linebackers, so that's not going to keep up.
All right, look, is Carl Bradford still playing inside linebacker?
No, he got cut. Carl Bradford never really played, honestly, but he just got cut this past week.
All right, so you've got Jake Ryan, Blake Martinez, and Bad Joe Thomas, right?
Bad Joe Thomas?
He's not as good as the 10-time Pro Bowler, right?
He's a very good... Look, he's middle Joe Thomas because he's better than his father.
So. That's true. That's sad, man.
Yeah, it's very sad. If you watch the Green Bay Atlanta game, I was rewatching it this past week, and you just keep seeing Green Bay put like Blake Martinez and Jake Ryan on Julio Jones, and it's the most frustrating thing I've ever seen on earth.
Wait, why?
I don't know, man. They're just like, look, this is how we're we're pattern matching in our zone. So here. God damn it, man. God damn it.
Okay, so this is a trend I've seen. So in games where Green Bay plays a majority of his snaps, the Vikings just friggin' lose, and they lose a lot too. Do you think Green Bay has the ability to force the Vikings into Bay's defense? Right? Like, do they so they put Ty Montgomery out there? They put Aaron Ripkowski out there. I actually almost called him Aaron Kuhn. Aaron Ripkowski out there. Richard Rodgers and friggin' what's his name? Jared Cook.
Well, I think they'll use. I mean, they don't want to play more receivers. Like that's one thing. They're fairly aware that the receivers aren't any good. So they're like, look, we want to throw out Cobb and Devontae Adams and Jordy Nelson, and that's it. Like you don't really see them in 4 wide sets. I think they can.
Is that weird watching?
No, because these guys are garbage. It makes a lot of sense to me. It doesn't make a lot of sense that we go heavy and we can't run the ball. That's pretty sad. But it makes sense that you would not want Jeff Janis or Geronimo Allison or Trevor Davis on the field. That makes a lot of sense.
I forgot about Geronimo Allison. What's wrong with Trevor Davis?
He's not good, and he drops punts and stuff.
Well, his punts aren't passes, man. I bet
he drops passes. He drops passes too.
Oh well, that's bad then.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean Devontae Adams is like wide receiver 2 right now, and like by a fair margin, and that's where the Packers are at basically.
Yeah, but Devontae Adams is good now, right? Like it's not sad to say Devontae Adams is wide receiver 2.
He still drops some brutal touchdowns.
Yeah, but he's still but he's
significantly better. Yeah, he's significantly better. Jordy Nelson is not Jordy Nelson of the past, but by default he's getting fed the ball in the red zone, and he's now leading the NFL in receiving touchdowns. Almost like I think it was James Jones who was washed up and led the NFL in receiving touchdowns a couple years back. That's basically the year that Jordy Nelson's having right now.
Didn't Jordy miss the Pro Bowl?
What Pro Bowl? This Pro Bowl?
Yeah, this Pro Bowl.
Oh yeah, probably he shouldn't have made it.
I just find it weird you could leave the league in receiving touchdowns and not make the Pro Bowl. I'm not saying he deserves it.
Well, like Drew Brees is like leading in like every passing statistic, and he didn't get in, and Dak Prescott got in.
That's also hilarious. Dude, the NFC is weird, right? Because like at the halfway point of the season, people were like, "Yeah, definitely Matthew Stafford's making the Pro Bowl. He might be in the MVP."
Yeah, and he's just snubbed out of it, even though his team is like a first place team.
But you'd still take Dak above both Brees and Staff, right?
What? Like to play a football game?
Yeah, man.
No.
Dude, Brees is so unreliable, man.
I think he's pretty reliable. I think his defense isn't reliable. Matthew Stafford, when he's healthy, if I get Jim Bob Cooter, I'm cool with that.
You get Dak with anybody. You get Dak with like Kyle Shanahan or whoever.
You get Drew Brees with an NFL team that has a defense, even if it's a Pro Bowl team.
That's like, I don't know. We haven't seen Dak in a shootout. Like, that's how you measure a quarterback, is like what they can do in a shootout. You know who wins a bunch of shootout games? Drew Brees and Matthew Stafford.
That's true. All right, so who are your NFC Pro Bowlers then? It's not Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't really care that much. I'd probably go Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers the god. I'm not opposed to voting Aaron Rodgers as MVP, honestly.
What? Okay, all right. Let's cool our.
Right, okay, we're done with this.
Have you guys?
No.
You guys don't even know where Packerland is on this one. Like Packer fans think if Green Bay wins the next 2 games, like it's stone cold lock.
Look,
they think he's going to win the MVP.
Yes,
we're like Matt 2 games away from
8 interceptions and win the
MVP. Is he actually going to win? Is it going to be him or Brady? I think Brady wins.
Oh, Brady's got it unlocked.
4 games, and then now that Gronk's out, his numbers have dropped. I don't know, man.
I think we should just people should just vote for Goodell, because Goodell held Tom Brady and Le'Veon Bell to 0 combined yards to 4 weeks.
Yes, that's the best game I've ever seen.
That's what I'm saying.
And look at all the good it did. No, we're like a couple of weeks away from is Aaron Rodgers elite questions in my mind.
Oh no! God damn it!
What? I mean,
right, okay, so
hey, it was his season that made me ask that question.
Oh, I know. Okay, no. Okay, so who on the Vikings offense do you think, and it's not even like that you're scared of, but can exploit a matchup? Do you think that Kyle Rudolph against the linebackers is a matchup favorable to the Vikings, even with Sam Bradford throwing to him? Do you think that Adam Thielen against, who is it, Mika Hyde?
Any cornerback, yeah. Any of your receivers against the cornerbacks, because our cornerbacks are like
any receiver. Good. What about Treadwell?
Yeah, sure. Has he caught a pass this year?
I'm not even sure if he's caught a pass. I think he's got 2 now.
He's caught like 2 or 3, yeah, maybe even 4.
I'm saying he could catch 15 against this Green Bay defense.
Man, how far the almost mighty have fallen.
Well, it's like Sam Shields is out, and then like Demarius Randall, like they're like, yo, hey, we're gonna pull him every once in a while because he doesn't know what he's doing. And then every other cornerback on the Packers team runs like a 4.6. It's just like bombs away, go.
Oh yeah, like Ladarius Gunner, right?
Yeah, like Ladarius Gunner. Quentin Rollins didn't run a particular. I think he ran like a 4.55 or something like that at Miami, Ohio.
Rollins was the basketball player, right?
Yeah, he was the basketball convert. Even a guy like Dimitri Goodson, he was a speedy guy. He was another basketball guy. He played for Baylor. I think he transferred out of Gonzaga. He's on IR right now. Yeah, this team's not in a good spot at cornerback. And Sam Shields apparently is still like having headaches from this concussion, and he only played 1 game this season. People are talking about him potentially retiring, so this might be a long-term issue. Because the thing is, like, Demarius Randall also played JUCO ball and was like a baseball player at the same time.
Baseball player, yeah.
So like he hadn't really played quarter. He played safety at Arizona State.
In college, yeah.
Yeah, so like he hadn't really played quarter. He hadn't really played cornerback at all. And I'd probably go as far as to say like Green Bay, as far as like the back end, that's probably one of the more complicated schemes, just in terms of like the pattern matching, like zone blitz and stuff like that, in the NFL. So that's not really like a place that you can really like plug and play a guy. Like even Charles Woodson took some time.
Are you on the fire Dom Capers train?
I mean, all these guys got hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, but okay. So all these guys got hurt. That sucks. I get it. Vikings offensive line. But my question is more like, it's a system where you can't plug and play players. Green Bay is like historically known for having players get hurt friggin' all the time.
Yeah, I think that's
at some point you got to be like, the defensive coordinator has to like figure out a way.
The thing is, he's creative, and I think being creative helps you in the NFL more than anything else. Because if you're really basic, like if you're Arizona or New York or Buffalo, right, a team that plays a lot of man and they send a lot of like inside pressure, they send a lot of inside linebackers, and basically their corners are man-to-man coverage all the time. Once that corner goes down, you're screwed, and we've seen that multiple times. Like when Revis falls off, done. Buffalo against Baltimore in week 1 of the season, when Mike Wallace catches a bomb on the 3rd and long in the 3rd quarter, and that ends up winning the game because it's just like that. You just don't have a large margin of error. We've seen Arizona's defense at least regress a little bit. And then on the other hand, you look at teams like cover 3 heavy teams, right? So like Seattle, but Seattle has the horses to run it, right? So like you take Seattle's scheme and you throw it in Jacksonville, and they'll have a free safety who can really play like Earl Thomas, and they don't have got like enforcers down at the linebacker level like Cam Newton or Cam Chancellor and Bobby Wagner. I mean, they found Jalen Ramsey who can play that Richard Sherman role, but like you got to rush 4. You know, you're rushing 4, you're dropping 4 into the mid-range, and then you're 3 guys deep. And if you're only dropping 3 guys deep, I mean, Earl Thomas and Richard Sherman are basically like mandatory. So I think what Green Bay does is where they just like, look, here's the thing, is you're not going to be able to beat everyone in a matchup. So we're just going to end up going like, we just have to throw out some creative stuff.
Well, all right. I'm not buying into any of this because you, Justice, have been on this show like 8 times, and it's always the same story with you. And we haven't even, well, I mean, maybe, but that's neither here nor there. We haven't even talked about Clinton Dix, the NFC picks leader, possibly the league leader in picks. I forget. I accidentally closed that tab. At any rate,
I have no idea.
He's
what
lethal.
Kind of Packers, man? Why are you on the show? You don't know this.
He does know. He's doing this on purpose, and I am calling him on his nonsense right now. And I actually want to know more specifically, like, how is Clinton Dix going to be lined up? I mean, is he going to be responsible for, like, a couple of different guys, or is he going to be on Adam Thielen? Is he going to be on Stephon Diggs the whole game? Is he going to be taking down Kyle Rudolph, or is he just going to find the best way to pick off Sam Bradford and then do it?
So the thing about the Packers, right, is they've done a lot of like in-game adjustments based on like how passing games attack them. So like they've gone into games where they've just played too high the entire time. Like they've done that.
You gotta be careful. The Vikings are gonna run on you if you do that.
Well, see, that's the thing is like I'm kind of cool with
Adrian Peterson, 150 yards and 2 fumbles.
Look, I'm here for that. I'm here for that all the way. The thing is, like, I'm cool with Green Bay. Like, this is the one year that I'm cool with. Like, I really don't like too high defenses. I think that's kind of a cowardly way to play football. But I'm cool with like help these damn corners, man, because these corners can't cover anyone deep.
That is the opposite of what you said like 5 minutes ago. I knew you were making it up.
What are you talking about? I said not cover 3. There's a huge difference between cover 3 and having it too high.
All right. But you still
also,
haven't...
okay, by the way, I think Justice knows who leads the league in picks. It's not Ha Clinton Dix. It's a former Green Bay Packer.
Oh, it's damn Casey Hayward?
Yeah, it's Casey Hayward.
Yeah, I remember. I knew he's like leading them in like pass deflections too, right?
Yeah, probably. It looks like it. Yeah, he is.
I have no idea what San Diego did. Like, San Diego's like, look, we're going to exchange the health of our offensive line for the ability to have dominant, small cornerbacks.
Do they have so many small cornerbacks? I think, like, Jason Verrett. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's happening up front then? So it's, like, LaTroy Guion, who's having a friggin' great year.
He's been having great years ever since he left Minnesota.
Yeah, that's so dumb. Because remember when he signed and
you were like laughing. You were like, "Yo, they done messed up."
Right. Well, because you said that the Packers always do this, and in this case, this meant sign a guy who had a really good game against them. Because Guion did have a great game against Green Bay once. The other time, Scott Tolzien spin move. Anyway, he had a good game against Green Bay, and you were like, "Man, the Packers are so dumb. They always do this. They always get these guys." They only signed like 2 free agents. It's always like these guys that nobody wants. I had a really good game against them. And he's like doing really well.
Yeah, and he beat the charge.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best photo I've ever.
They found drugs, money, and guns, and he walked away.
I mean, the money, you can explain that, right? Because he's like, I converted all my NFL checks to cash.
Yeah,
no, that's what his agent said. That he like converted all of his NFL checks to cash so that he could like give it to his family. It was just like, are you kidding? That's really the explanation? Really?
I mean, there's just not very. I mean, there's just not very many times you find drugs and money in the same room and someone walks away from something. You know what I mean? That's not really how.
Do you even know how did that happen?
I don't know, man. I still don't know.
Don't you want to learn his ways? Why don't you look this up?
I mean, I like read the story, you know what I mean? But like I don't understand, like I can't like wrap my head around that. Like this dude was driving across state lines with like zips, man. Like just straight like packages and then like bundles of cash and like weapons. I'm like, how what?
The weapons weren't registered to him either, right?
No. Like
God, how does he
He's got a great lawyer, man. That's the dude who should be running the minor league football team. Because he'll figure it out. He'll get the job done.
That's true. He'll be the fixer. Actually, does Green Bay have a fixer?
No.
Did you read that Dallas story about the Dallas Cowboys fixer?
No. Explain what a fixer is.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really?
If you got a problem, he'll fix it.
Yeah, man. He's the guy that keeps like. Situation. Yeah. Okay. So like, 90%.
I don't think you need to in Green Bay because like.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. That you probably don't need a fixer in Green Bay.
Like I don't know if they have smartphones yet, so they can't even like videotape stuff. So.
So you're saying there's a lot of police brutality in Green Bay?
Well, okay,
it's just a lot of settlers at Catan.
If they can put David Blaine on a webcam in 2003 in London, then there are probably at least 5 people in Green Bay that have smartphones.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean. But I don't think that. I think those 5 people are already Packers fans. I think they're probably not going to turn in like LaTroy Guion.
I'm not convinced that Green Bay has that much love for Latour Guion.
Yeah, what is
correct, sir?
Do fans agree this guy?
They're like, hey, he's decent and he's a warm body, which is exactly what we need.
Oh please! This is the laziest reverse trolling you've committed on this show in numerous.
I'm not doing a damn thing. Look, listen. This team was 6-8, right? Something like that. This team was 6-8, or like, I don't know. This team was not good. This team was not good already. Look, I don't know nothing. I just know this team was at the brink of it, and I had quit on it, and then they just bring me back, man. And I thought we were
they had
like
a 4-win run against like the Texans and the Bears. Yeah. They beat the Bears by 3.
That's what I'm saying. You guys are like, look, you're reverse trolling. I'm like, no, man, this team's played one good game, and this is against the Seahawks in like the past.
Punching a series of pillows. Yeah.
Here's a list of teams with winning record. Hold on. This is a list of teams with a winning record that the Packers have beaten since October 9th. That is just the Giants, the Texans, and the Seahawks. They beat the Broncos and the Texans.
They beat the Lions. Lions got a winning record.
That's not since then. Yeah, I mean this team's beaten 4 teams with a winning record. This team's beaten 4 teams with a winning record, and they've lost against 1, 2, 3. Enough. They lost against enough teams with a winning record. Yeah. This team's really good at home, but this team's garbage on the road. Actually, like that's actually what happens.
Oh yeah, that's really useful for the Vikings right now.
You don't get that big ass horn.
Pretty well since like week 8. Like so, before week 8, he was like, "What the hell is happening?" After week 8, he's been freaking lights out.
Yeah. There are rumors that. Well, there are rumors that he now gets to call plays at the line of scrimmage, or he now gets to call plays on 3rd down.
Why hasn't anybody why hasn't Bob McGinn tried to figure this out?
He's too busy writing about draft prospects right now. He's dropping gems.
Oh my god! What about Jason Wild? Does Jason Wild not write this stuff?
I don't know.
It was be all over this story.
I don't know, man. It's something that was like rumored, but I don't think you're going to get Mike McCarthy or Aaron Rodgers to talk about it at all. So I don't know how you're going to break it.
But talking about the offensive coordinator, talking to the offensive coordinator off the record, who's been overruled, man. I'm that guy.
I don't think the offensive coordinator knows. McCarthy's out here calling. I don't think, bro. That's the thing about Green Bay. It's like it's really like there's a totem pole. Like people talk about like Ted Thompson, and Ted Thompson will have a draft board and talk to everyone, things like that, and then he'll just go up on draft day and be like, haha, Clinton Diggs. And they'll be like, he's already like our 6th rated player on the board right now. He's like, I know, but we should do it. So I'm going to do it. Well, like, I'm the boss, so we're going to do it. So
okay, but this season has made it look like that was like a really smart decision.
Dude, I don't know. Like, I'd let Rodgers kind of cook. Like, the thing about McCarthy is McCarthy throws out a lot of formations. He doesn't change up the personnel very much, but he throws out a lot of formations and gives defenses different looks so that it looks like you're seeing the same play every once in a while, and it's the complete opposite. So, like, I think McCarthy doesn't want to let go of those reins because he really wants to keep that idea of like
that mind game going on in the
of just like setting things up. You know what I mean? Like he really wants to set things up, and then Aaron is like, "This is what we're good at. Let's go do that." You know what I mean? Like it's like that conflict, and I think out of that conflict is probably where you find a middle ground, right? Or you find, something that works, right? I don't think necessarily one way is the right way. It's probably that push and pull of what, depending how the game flow is going on, right? And the thing is, like, people have talked about like Rodgers calling plays for that 7-touchdown Matt Flynn game
6
against Detroit.
Touchdown. No, 7 wasn't it?
Was it 7? I don't know.
I think it was 6 because Manning tied Nick Foles' record at 7.
God. Yeah, okay, it was 6 then. But there were rumors about that on New Year's. That was New Year's Day, like 2012. So I don't know. Like, I'm cool with handing over the keys to Aaron on 3rd down. Honestly.
How about this? Aaron Rodgers versus Mike Zimmer's passer rating's been 86.9 versus everybody else. It's 105.1. Does that scare you?
Does Zimmer have 2 eyes yet?
No.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, judging by last week.
Man, all he has to do is call the play. Like, why does he need 2 eyes to call the plays?
You don't need to see what the offense is throwing out there?
Oh, that's what the photos are.
Are you looking at things with different eyes independently? Like, is that?
Yeah, does he need depth perception to like count the personnel? No.
I don't know. Well, the thing too is like is he on the booth or is he in the booth or is he down on the field?
No, he's on the field.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
His son's in the booth. His son's the one telling him all the stuff that's happening.
Yeah, like you can't see anything from the damn field, man.
Yeah.
No one can ever tell me that. Like a dude, I don't understand play callers who are on the sideline. Honestly, that doesn't make sense to me because I think I would want to be in the booth calling plays because you can't really like the angles. If you guys have ever played like a football game, like it's like the angles are horrible. You can't really see anything from the sideline.
Dude, it's the exact same as having the Chicago Bears all 22, man.
But it's worse though. Like it's actually like it's worse.
Justice is a joke, man.
Yeah. All right. Well.
No, Reef, but it's worse than the L22 camera.
No, but it is worse.
Oh, is it? Oh, no way.
Look, the only reason I said that is because I ran part of my job is I was a DB coach and I ended up with like you guys know what Huddle is?
Yeah.
So I had like basically like an iPad on the sideline with Huddle streaming from the top of the stadium for our high school games this past year.
Oh my God.
People super do that. I think every single team that we played did that. But yeah, so I had to like have that because I couldn't tell what our DBs were doing halfway across the field, you know. So I was like, dude, look,
have you considered that maybe you're just a bad coach?
No, absolutely not. God damn you! Where do you get off?
It is his show, man.
Okay, so someone confronted me on Twitter the other day and said that I should be coaching Alabama's defensive line with the takes that I have, and I agree. So,
wait, would you make them? Because this is the inside-outside foot thing, right?
Yeah.
And people are like, "What about all these 3-4 outside linebackers that do it differently?"
Yeah, and like Von Miller's different, and Justin Houston's different, I guess.
Different, and what someone said Clay was different.
No, like Clay doesn't really even do that though. Like Clay's like a lot of inside foot too. Like that's the thing is, I don't know, man. Odd front defense.
Wait. Just before you get off on this, can you explain what you're talking about for people who may not have been privy to this extremely inside football Twitter conversation, which does not mean just me, but possibly like 1,000 plus of our listeners?
Okay. So Alabama's pass rusher Tim Williams is basically a reincarnation of Vic Beasley. The only difference is Alabama has only played him in more than 50% of the snaps in one game, and it was against LSU this past season. Because Alabama plays a 3-4 defense that very much relies on run stoppers, which is why they have a 290-pounder named John Allen, who might be the first overall pick in this coming draft, playing defensive end all the time. But Tim Williams, when he does get an opportunity to rush the passer like Vic Beasley did, he looks not only as good as Vic Beasley, but better than Vic Beasley was. But he has very limited attempts at doing that. One, because he's really only on the field on like third downs and long distance situations because of the way that Alabama defense is structured. And when he's lining up as an outside linebacker in a 3-4 defense, he often has his inside foot up. And as a defensive lineman, so like you watch like Everson Griffin and like Donnell Hunter and Brian Robeson, right? And their inside foot is back because as a defensive lineman, what you want to do is step to contact so you keep your outside shoulder free while still advancing into the backfield.
So you want to swing in with your inside foot to the offensive
right, because you want to punch that inside hand because you want to keep your outside shoulder clean. But in a 3-4 defense, when like a lot of people think that 3-4 outside linebackers are pass rushers, right? We get this notion that they're pass rushers, but they're not pass rushing every single play. Like these teams aren't sending five pass rushers or 5 guys into the offensive line every single play. So you have to hide your intentions by having that inside foot up because you might have to drop back into coverage at some point.
And it's a question of having your second step be stronger than your first, which is somewhat unconventional.
Yeah, basically. And there are players like Von Miller who can take his first step, and his first step is he's so explosive out of his first step that he could probably beat people out of their first 2 steps. So getting him into that type of alignment is kind of like cheating, right? Because it's like, oh, he just skipped a step. That's not fair. It would just like put someone back after a single step instead of after 2. But I I don't think it's the same for everyone. I think 4-3 pass rushers, 4-3 defensive ends are more true pass rushers than 3-4 outside linebackers. As weird as that sounds.
Oh, that makes sense. Does any particular player on the Minnesota defense scare you? Let's go back. Let's get to Harrison Smith. He's probably playing. Does he get another Aaron Rodgers pick at Lambeau?
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, with the way that these guys are kind of playing, I mean, they drop balls and they put balls into the air, and when you do that, dangerous. I think Danielle Hunter is probably your guys' best pass rusher over the past couple of weeks.
He is.
I think that goes far to say that.
He's also the best run-defending edge player, too.
So why is he a backup?
Because Chad Greenway is a starting linebacker. Brian Robinson is a starting. It's the same thing, man. You're just asking a different position question.
I worry about that. I worry if someone like Xavier Rhodes just kind of shuts down Jordy in the red zone.
Didn't that happen last time?
No, he caught a touchdown. He was the first person to catch a touchdown.
I don't know. Rhodes wasn't in that game, right? Rhodes missed that game.
Yeah. So I worry about that because Rhodes shut down OBJ, right?
Yeah, held him to 23 yards.
He's been shutting down everyone when he's not allowing teams to get to like the 3-yard line on dumb penalties, then he's shutting everyone down.
That's been his issue is the penalties. So wide receiver ones, so like Alshon's, OBJ, T.Y. Hilton, Duke Hopkins, they're averaging 40 yards a game, and most of those yards are actually coming against the safeties. So like T.Y. Hilton had 45 yards this last week, and like 40 of them came against the safeties. So Rhodes has been holding down wide receiver ones as if they're averaging about 800 yards a season and about 4 touchdowns a season. That's if you project his wide receiver one numbers out. So yeah, I think he can take care of Jordy because Jordy's not Jordy.
That's the one thing that worries me. And then it's like, all right, we have to go to the run game because if Jordy gets taken out, then it's just Devontae basically. Because Randall Cobb's legitimately horrible right now.
Yeah, why? Because can he be back to being the slot gadget dude? What's wrong? Why can't he do what he did?
He's not really. It looks like he's kind of lost a step, and he was a slot receiver who literally had the greatest slot receiver season of all time. And
that's
then
only because the person got injured in 2012. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
And it's all downhill since then. Like Randall Cobb's about to be a 26-year-old who gets cut off of his second contract.
Yeah, he was so young entering the league, right? Because he got
he was the first '90s baby to score a touchdown.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yep, against the Saints, I think. I don't know why I know this. My mind is filled with useless information.
Okay, so you know that Randall Cobb is the first '90s baby to score a touchdown, but you don't know whether or not Clinton Dix leads the league in picks.
This is exactly the reverse trolling I was talking about. Just to be 100% clear.
Yeah. I don't know. Stats for DBs don't matter. I'm very much on that team.
What do you mean stats?
So Ha-Ha's been doing good, though. Ha-Ha's good. Burnett is good. I mean, some people even want to play like Morgan Burnett like full-time at like linebacker at this point. I'm not going to go that far because we need safety help for these cornerbacks.
Dude, Burnett has saved so many of my IDP teams.
Is he just racking up these tackles? Yeah.
He just racks like tackles and assisted tackles. He gets a ton of those.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because he gets targeted all the time or if he's just near the ball all the time.
No, he's just near the ball. Like the Packers are totally fine with people throwing like a 4-yard pass against him, and there's just their linebackers and Morgan Burnett coming up and making the tackle.
I'm telling you, him and Barry Church are value picks at safety for IDP leagues every single year. People pick Harrison Smith, that's fine, but these safeties get picked too early. You gotta get, maybe you want to get Rashad Jones, but you always got to get Morgan Burnett and Barry Church. Man, they give you numbers. Also, soon to be Carl Joseph.
Soon to be Carl Joseph.
Yeah, he's gonna be. I don't think people are gonna draft him high next year either. So I think that in an IDP league, you got to pick up. Those are your 3 safeties: Carl Joseph, Morgan Burnett, Barry Church.
Yeah, I haven't really even seen him play that much. Like, I mean, I watch Oakland, but like when their defense is on the field, I'm like, oh, I've seen this story before. Flip the channel. Has he been doing that good?
Oh no, yeah, he's played really well, and then he's also, aside from playing really well, has racked up a lot of really nice stats too. Because Barry Church racks up all these stats, but he's not good.
Yeah. No, that's usually how. That's the thing is what people talk about like linebackers when they talk about like IDP. I'm very much like a lot of people like to point to. This happens a lot in the college evaluation process where people point to tackles and they're like, "Look, this linebacker made all these tackles. That means he's good." Making a tackle.
That's because Scooby allows so many.
Well, that's the thing is if you're making it one, every play ends up in a tackle, right? And two, if a running back decides to go through your lane, that means you in your run fit are the path of least resistance, which means you did the worst job out of that front.
Sometimes it's designed that way for the defense. Sometimes they want you to be the run fit. That's not 100% true. But you're right.
I don't see any value in you making a tackle 4 yards past the line of scrimmage at all.
We're on the same team on this one, man. That's why I do like stop rate. I think stop rate's a killer stat.
But there's like guys like Paul Posluszny who are like IDP just giants, and you're like, you're making tackles behind the line, like five yards past the line of scrimmage every single play.
Yeah, man.
Why are you getting rewarded for this?
I got pause on one of my IDP teams too, man. People pick all these good players in IDP, and it's like no one's going to throw to them. Luke Kuechly's the only good linebacker that's worth the pick that he goes at in IDP.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Anyway, back to this game. So if you're worried about Jordy getting shut down, Devonta Adams goes up against Terrence Newman, who has allowed fewer yards and fewer touchdowns than Xavier Rhodes. I mean, they got to run, and you're worried about running, I guess. But, like, Ty Montgomery is killing it, man.
Yeah, but it's a small sample. Like, that's one, I don't know.
Okay, so I haven't watched enough Ty Montgomery to be like, this is what they do with him when he's a running back. Yeah. Are there a lot of, like, Cordero Patterson, Tavon Austin type plays with him, or are they, like, running him up the gut? They're running.
Oh, they're. I mean, they used to be doing. They used to do like the same Cobb flex stuff, but now it's like they're running like inside zone, outside zone with him. Not so much power, but they're running a lot of zone with him. There's a couple times that because the thing about a guy like James Starks, right, is James Starks will take that ball outside every single time because he still thinks he's fast enough that he can get the edge on people, and he's absolutely not. So like when they run outside,
averages 2.1 yards a carry against the Vikings. Just putting that out there.
He's disgusting. So when like Ty Montgomery runs outside zone and he actually cuts up like through like the A gap, right? Like defense is like, oh shit, and he ends up like ducking and dipping and diving underneath like three defenders and then like breaking into the open field 15 yards like, down the field. So it's like, he's very much he's almost like a change of pace back, but he's like our top back at the same time somehow.
Can he press the lane? Like can he bait people into the wrong gap and stuff?
Yeah. No, he absolutely could do that. I think I think that comes from his returning background, honestly, because he uses. I think outside zone is what you want to worry about the most with him. Almost like what's his name, Tevin Coleman in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. He's almost like a plus version of him right now. If that makes sense.
Plus because he's healthy, or
plus because
you don't think Coleman's good.
Yeah. Yes. The answer is yes. Yeah,
fair enough, I guess.
Coleman. The funniest thing about Coleman is he's exactly what we thought he was going to be coming out of college. And like, there's this freak athlete who literally can only run outside zone, and do not let him do anything else on the football field. It's like, yep, pretty much.
Man, there's some people in the fantasy community that got so arrogant and uppity about Tevin Coleman. It was crazy to me.
Really? Because it seemed like Freeman was always going to be the starter, right?
No, not always. In fact, I think Freeman started, or I think Coleman started before he got injured last year, and then Freeman blew up. Because I remember, because that was when I was playing a bunch more DFS, and a bunch of DFSers got really pissed because they missed out on Devonta Freeman in like week 2 or 3 or something like that.
Huh. Sad.
Sad.
Should
have known. But that's what I mean. But that's what I mean, though, like, because I think a bunch of fantasy dudes were really into Tevin Coleman because he's a freak athlete. He got 2,000 yards or whatever. Why wouldn't he be good? Tell me that. Why isn't he good, Justice?
He doesn't really know how to set. So you're talking about setting up blockers and things like that. Yeah. He doesn't really know how. Like if you just had like the idea of like a stretch play, right?
and you're like, yeah, just hit the edge. I think he can do that, but the edge isn't always open. You have to read your offensive lineman basically. Like if your offensive lineman's, if you can read his numbers, right, keep going outside. But if he's turned outside, run off of his ass, and he doesn't really understand that. Like he'll just keep going outside, almost like James Starks.
Man, you're such a good running backs coach, man. Why aren't you coaching these guys? Why don't you have a job?
I don't know. Like, let me tell you this. I don't know how to coach that out of guys. Like, I understand like D-line, O-line, and I've been working on DBs. I can coach those guys up. Everything else, I can just tell you what you're doing wrong. And
they were actually
maybe point you to the right direction.
He was actually going to take a job at Alabama, but it turns out he wasn't a very good institutional fit.
Yeah, I'm a shitty recruiter.
Programmatic non-fit. That's it.
I'm a shitty recruiter, honestly. So they couldn't let me in.
What's your recruiting strategy? Like, how do you, if you could recruit a player, let's say you're given the responsibility of a 5-star defensive end, the future of the program, what do you do? What's your plan of attack?
I point to force players, and I'm like, look, we're gonna put a lot of weight on you, and we're gonna make you a lot of money. And I want to be your agent.
You are a shitty recruiter, man. I'm gonna be your agent. Wow.
And I'm gonna be your agent.
You didn't even lead with the money that Alabama's gonna get. Like, that's ridiculous, Justis.
I'm not trying to get Steve Sarkisian in trouble.
You just said you wanted to be his agent.
Sure, that's on me. You talked about Alabama. I'm trying to. No way. I'm trying to win 3 rings with this guy.
All right. Okay. So Ty Montgomery, small sample. He can run outside zone, can cut inside, can set up his blockers. What are you worried about? Like, what do you think is hidden that might poison his game? If he has a bad game against the Vikings, why would he have a bad game against the Vikings?
If they throw out guys like Hunter and Everson Griffin, and they have them set the edge, and Green Bay has to end up running a lot of like ISO and like inside zone, I think that would be bad for him with like a healthy Linval Joseph in the middle.
Fair enough.
Especially when I think 3 of our starting offensive linemen are banged up, all the interior guys.
Who is in the interior now? Because Lang's still there, right? He's just...
Yeah, well, he's banged up. I think he's limited participant. Treader and Lane Taylor are also limited participants.
Lane Taylor, isn't that the maternity clothing store?
Hey,
that's Lane Bryant.
What was that, Dusty?
It's Lane Bryant, not Lane Taylor.
It's like the same. It's got a Y in it.
Totally the same.
Yeah, and a T. Honestly, they're the same. Anyway, I've never heard of Lane Taylor. Is he good?
So he was one of the guys. You know how every offseason they end up having like a list of like, hey, these are the undrafted free agents who sign like the biggest bonuses for teams in the NFL and things like that, right? He was one of the guys out of Oklahoma State who ended up having like one of the largest signing bonuses for the Packers a couple years back. And then once Josh Sitton...
a couple years back, wow.
Yeah, a few years back. And once Josh Sitton was gone, they basically made him a starter. Sight unseen, essentially.
I heard a rumor that Josh Sitton was gone because of racism.
There's a rumor out there. Him and Sam Barrington. I think we just trumpet and just say people are saying. There are people who are saying. There are people out there who are saying that Sam Barrington and Josh Sitton may have had an altercation, and that led to both of them being cut. Because Sam Barrington was listed as a starting inside linebacker the entire offseason, and he didn't necessarily have – like, he was a dude who was at the draft, like, helping – like, announcing picks and things like that. And he wasn't a dude who had a large contract by any means, unlike Josh Sitton. So he just kind of, like –
why did they just cut Barrington, man?
I don't know.
Why did they have to cut Sitton?
Apparently it was Sitton who said the things, and then Barrington got mad. But the people are saying that.
Right.
Right. This is also Sam Barrington, who was the Packers nominee for a Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award.
Oh, wow. Man, Packers are ruthless.
Yeah. In a year that he had literally one single tackle.
Oh, I didn't know this. He's the cousin of LaTroy Guion.
Get out.
Not joking at all.
I'm
Little
Googling
Florida
this
babies.
right now.
What?
Little Florida babies. Yeah, that's amazing.
I don't believe
Okay,
it
so
at all.
aren't most people in Florida cousins, though? Like, especially North and Central Florida?
Well, I don't think you have to like limit it to Florida, right? Like that's just how it is down south. I was under that impression. No, I'm not gonna tell the story. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, you're the worst. Anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you a story about when I
Such-
went to the Senior Bowl, but I'm not gonna get fired today. So
All right. Well, I guess we'll accept that. We would like to have you on in the future.
once I'm fired,
Well, regrettably, we can't pay you much more than 69 cents an hour.
yeah, that's fine.
For your time.
Once you guys let me go, like the Packers let Josh Sitton go, I'll come on and tell that story.
All right, okay, so the only thing I'm worried about, aside from Sam Bradford, being a one-read quarterback suddenly, is there any Packers pass rush? Like, I know technically Clay Matthews exists. I know that LaTroy.
Yeah, he exists. He's not any good. Nick Perry is injured. Julius Peppers and Dayton Jones were told that they were going to be outside linebackers, but they're essentially playing D-tackle at this point. Kyler Fackrell has moments, but he's not a force player, and it's very evident that he's not a force player.
Isn't he like a 30-year-old sophomore or something like that?
Yeah, he's a 25-year-old rookie. Yeah, that's not any good. No, they really don't have a pass rush or cornerbacks. That's the biggest problem with Green Bay, and that's why they got dunked on.
Do you think the Vikings offense by itself scores more than 20 points?
Ooh, golly. So that's 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals?
Sure. This presumes that kicks are made, but yeah, why not?
I think that they can get to 17. I would feel way more comfortable with 17 than 20, just because that's 3 drives versus 4.
I expect both of you to know the answer to this, but what's the implied total by Vegas? What's the implied score by Vegas?
It was 43, right? And Green Bay's a 7-point favorite.
Green Bay's a 7-point. Jesus.
Yeah, that line's too high. Hey, guess what? Green Bay's a public team. Green Bay's a public team. That's usually how that thing works.
Were you doing air quotes that I couldn't see when you said
the
that?
spread over the past 5 years?
Well, the thing, I can't tell you that off the top of my head, but I can tell you that Green Bay.
He's against the spread records.
I know. I don't have it off. I don't have 5 years combined though.
2 years.
I can do that. Let me talk through this. So basically, the thing about Green Bay is they really when they win at home, they win by 7 points. That's the only thing is they've lost to the they lost to the Giants, and that was really it. As against the spread, I hate this website. Go to teamrankings.com if you're trying to look up stats against the spread. I think that's the best site that you can go for. So the Packers are 7-6-1 against the spread this season, and last season they were 11-7. So actually, that's a pretty good job. That's pretty solid. It's not Minnesota Vikings at home. Minnesota, even though this year the Vikings have not done well against the spread. Last year they were 14-3 against the spread. They were basically cash money. They were what we thought the Cowboys were to start this season, and now Minnesota is 8-6 after they've been slipping up. But this home and away split is fairly significant with them because Minnesota leads the NFL with a 5-2 record against the spread at home still.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Gambling's weird and fun, and I hope I don't lose money every week.
How have you been doing this year? You ready?
Horrible.
Well? Yeah.
Super horrible. Yep. Horrible. In the picks for Bleacher Report, very bad. But the only thing that gives me solace is that Vegas is losing an incredible amount of money at the same
Vegas
time.
is getting killed by the players. My God, it's amazing.
Vegas is hemorrhaging because the Los Angeles Rams, San Francisco 49ers, and Cleveland Browns not only can't win football games, they can't cover the spread. And even teams like the Jets aren't even doing well, and Jacksonville has a losing record too. Every bad team is also losing against the spread. Detroit, when they went 0-16 in 2008, had a 7-9 record against the spread. Cleveland right now is 2-12.
Oh my God.
They can't even make these lines.
Cleveland, they're like the anti-Green Bay Packers, right? They're the anti-public team. The public will bet. big against them to lose against. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the thing is, so they're losing by an average of 6.2 points against the spread every week, and so are the San Francisco 49ers. Well, here's the problem, is you get all these parlay bets in Vegas, and those start basically compounding. And if Cleveland and San Francisco are essentially losing against the spread by 6 points, when you're talking about a 6-point teaser, you could just get those two, and you ended up with money over and over and over again on very bad teams. And this is Vegas, where basically no one is trying to put money on those guys.
Oh, at least you've got that going for you.
Yeah, but I'm not doing it. I end up getting swindled into trying to think that Cleveland's going to win. Cleveland is absolutely going to win this week because they're playing they're playing against the San Diego Chargers, and Philip Rivers has 15 kids. I'm not sure that he even knows it's Christmas week yet, because he plays his life. He plays his entire life down a touchdown with a minute left to go and no timeouts. So I think he's going to figure out like tomorrow that it's like Christmas week. And he's just going to be flustered.
He's going to freak out. And
he doesn't know it's Christmas week, and he doesn't know that the game's on Saturday yet. Those are the two things that are going to lead to Cleveland ending up getting their first win this year.
You are desperate as hell.
It is.
Did you put money on San Diego?
Absolutely not. No, I stopped. You just can't trust San Diego, man.
That's true. San Diego's numbers are lies. They've been lies since 2010.
I don't know. Like there can't be another team that has lost that many close games. There's no way.
Dude, they piss me off so much.
Yeah, they don't make any sense because they get close enough. Like San Diego's a team that if you see a 7.5 point spread, you should take them. And anything other than that, you are risking everything, man. You're risking it all. Because they're almost like Little Caesars, right? Like San Diego can tell you, like Little Caesars, right? Their whole brand is hot and ready, and we promise nothing other than that, right? We're hot and we're ready. San Diego's like, we're gonna be in a 1-score game. Can't tell you if it's gonna be good. Can't tell you if it's gonna be bad, but we're gonna be in a 1-score game.
Is Little Caesars a brothel?
Have you never heard of Little Caesars, man?
You don't know what Little Caesars is? What you know about a Little Caesars $5 pizza? What?
Yeah, you never had a large $5 pseudo pepperoni pizza?
Like it's like basically made out of the cardboard.
Yeah, man, but it's pizza, so
it's hot and it's ready.
Yeah, it's hot and it's ready.
I guess
they also promise that it's pizza, and they deliver on that too.
Wow.
I mean, they don't deliver. Like I shouldn't say deliver.
Don't you have to like go to there to get it or something? I don't know.
Right? Yeah. I meant to say they also promise that it's pizza, and that promise has worked out most of the time as well.
It has been 29 years, maybe 28 years since I've seen the Little Caesars commercial.
Dude, there's one in Midway in St. Paul. Man, that place is always packed.
That's probably where the pizza is the best. It's probably the most hot and the most ready.
It's garbage food. Like if you want to ruin your intestines, that's probably the easiest way to do it.
Why do you think I didn't know
it's
what
hot
you were
and it's
talking
ready,
about?
Man.
That's all they promise.
I'm gonna finesse you guys into getting a Little Caesars sponsorship after this.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah,
we did say it was garbage food, so it might be difficult.
Yikes! Just edit that out.
Yeah, that last end of this podcast is just going to be Little Caesars praise to the confusion of our listeners.
Exactly. If you'd like some cheap garbage, I mean, you must since you're a Vikings fan. No, that's rude. I would never do that to the Vikings or to Little Caesars.
Who forces the Adrian Peterson fumble?
Burnett.
Yeah,
Adrian Peterson.
Or Clay.
Okay.
And then
I mean, but like for credit. But okay, yeah, that makes sense.
He's back.
Dude, he raised his yards per carry. Did you see that?
Significantly.
I looked up the stats and yeah, I did see it, but it's like Adrian hasn't had a good year this year. We can go ahead and say that.
He hasn't had a good last 16 games.
Yeah. I remember that heading into the season, and I didn't believe you guys. And then I saw him, and I was like,
dude, man, I'm so pissed at draft Twitter now. Okay, I just mean Stoner. But, dude, I kept on saying, like, Adrian Peterson's bad. He's holding the offense back. And Stoner's like, yeah, he led the league in rushing. And I'm like, yeah, it's because the Vikings are stupid. Like, you can't... like, who cares? Man, he was bad. He'd been bad. And, like, Sully likes to troll about Teddy Bridgewater. And he
that's the thing is, I don't even think that was... I don't think that was anything either. I think that was, like... I think from Sully's standpoint, I think that was just absolute troll job.
Yeah, no, Sully is it's bad. It's bad. But the key, he does. I think Sully thinks that Adrian Peterson, before he screwed up again, he thinks that Adrian Peterson was actually leading the Vikings offense. When it's like, man, he was averaging less than 4 yards a carry most of the season. I
think we got bamboozled on that one because there was a very real split. There was a very real split that you could see statistically between like the beginning of Adrian Peterson's season last year and the end of it.
Yeah, because he finished with 4.5? Like the final yards per carry wasn't bad. Like it wasn't as good as like Doug Martin's, right? Who nearly had Adrian Peterson's rushing total on 50 fewer carries. But like that was a year that like Jamal Charles went out, LaShawn McCoy didn't take enough carries, and Le'Veon Bell was suspended again. And so we didn't get a really good rushing leader.
Yeah. Well, even LeGarrette Blount right now, I think he has like 14 rushing touchdowns. Like the leader last year had 11, and we're not even talking about LeGarrette Blount right now. Like last year's rushing, like I guess just unit of running backs, right? Were not good. I mean, Cam Newton was one touchdown away from leading the NFL in passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns in the same season.
That's hilarious.
Yep. But he's no good anymore.
No, he's good.
What's wrong with Cam Newton?
He just needs to relax.
I agree.
He just needs somebody to throw a flag in his favor.
Oh, I don't really want to talk
someday.
About that.
The dream may one day be alive.
I just can't get over that they got the flag on him for taunt. That's so insane.
Just call it offsetting penalties.
It makes sense, but
Jesus
I don't know why
Christ.
they throw the flag for getting hit in the head.
I mean, I get taunting is a trash penalty. They should encourage taunting. Additional 5 yards, excellent taunting. But I get that they call it because they don't want taunting and stuff like that. But at the very worst, it should be the most egregious example of offsetting penalties we've seen.
I think we should replace the PAT with taunting, basically.
There should be a taunting competition in the Pro Bowl.
A dance off.
Yeah, okay, you have to go infuriate their bench, and you get 1 point, or you can go for 2 from the 2 yard line.
If someone takes a swing at you, you get 2 points.
I'm cool. I'm super cool with that. It has to be something creative too, though. That's the thing.
So teams will be hiring Eminem as consultants.
Eminem is so old and busted.
Oh, who cares, man?
We can call it 1 mile. We just stop calling it the PAT. We'll call it 1 mile.
Oh,
perfect.
Lord. Look, I love football so much that I left watching televised version of a Madonna concert to come and do this show. And let me tell you, Madonna's stage production is phenomenal. If you could bring 1/10 of the energy and theater to this ostensible point after touchdown taunting game, which I think...
Okay, no, hold on, Dusty. Can you imagine a league full of 32 Mike Zimmers even thinking about hiring Madonna to win the 1 mile competition?
That might be the best question you've ever asked.
I'm just saying.
She played the Super Bowl, right? That's fine.
Sure, but that was
would someone hire Bruno Mars?
You know what? Actually, I take that back.
Right?
Bill Belichick would hire Madonna.
Exactly. He wouldn't like doing it. He wouldn't like it personally.
She turned her into a slot receiver.
Wow.
That's the thing is Brock Osweiler is going to be the craziest slot receiver for the Patriots. People don't even know it yet. It's the Bill O'Brien connection. One hand, because the thing is, by the time Brock Osweiler is going to be out of that contract in Houston, Bill O'Brien will already be the offensive coordinator in New England, right? So.
Actually, let's talk about this Brock Osweiler contract, and by that I mean let's talk about Tyrod Taylor's next contract. He's not going to get paid, is he?
Dude, they're talking about Buffalo cutting him.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Easy to me. Why? Yeah, I mean it seems, bro. Okay, so Buffalo's GM has basically, so if he lets Rex Ryan go, he's going to be able to, with no playoff even appearance, he's going to be able to select 3 different head coaches. He drafted E.J. Manuel 16th overall. And he's the same dude who put Lance Zierlein's father, he was the person who spammed that porn thing, right, in the league.
Oh yeah.
Go look up Doug Whaley video. Just look up Doug Whaley email.
So we're gonna end up in an off season where there's no Rex Ryan or Ty God in Buffalo, but no Gus Bradley and still Blake Bortles in Jacksonville.
Well, that's the thing too, right? Is if you're talking about a team like Jacksonville, who would Jacksonville go after? Having Tyrod go head to head.
They're just gonna keep Doug Marrone, man. They
They
want the continuity, man.
I mean, Caldwell. Caldwell's there, right? Caldwell's still there. Caldwell's about to make another top 5 pick. And also, why do you fire a dude if you're not trying to basically kick the tires on a guy? Right?
Right.
Doug Marrone thought he was going to be able to get another head coaching job. That's why he left Buffalo.
That's so hilarious to me, man. Because he wasn't doing a poor job in Buffalo.
Dude, no, he had an option to pick up, and he was like, "No, man, I'm gonna leave and take this money and go coach somewhere else at the same time, and I'm gonna get another head coaching job."
I'm gonna enter the. It's gonna be exactly like college. I'm just gonna leave and enter the coaching waters. There's 8 teams open.
Dude, this guy went from Syracuse to Buffalo and then told Buffalo to screw off and was like, "I'll just go be what was he, the O-line coach or something?"
He's the O-line coach. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Dude, he had the foresight to move Joe to guard. Man, that's the kind of head coaching vision I need.
Ah, man, I don't know. I think they should add Tyrod Taylor to the mix there. If they can get someone like Kyle Shanahan and then just have Tyrod Taylor and Blake Bortles just go head to head, I'm in for it.
Dude, that'd be.
This is Blake
awesome.
Bortles, dude. This is Blake. Well, I talked about this on our podcast. Shouts to Setting the Edge with Charles McDonald.
We didn't promote that enough. Yes, it's actually a really great podcast. I only listened to 1 episode, but I assume the other ones are great because there's 2 more episodes out, right?
Yeah. So we have Kean Fahey. He came in and we did a question and answers thing.
Yeah, that sounds hilarious.
So one thing that we were talking about Kyle Shanahan, if he takes the Jacksonville job, which could be problematic, right? So Kyle Shanahan picked off Matt Ryan, right? You guys see that vine?
Yeah, that's hilarious. I love it.
So he picked it off in the end zone, right? And he started returning it back. Blake Bortles, heading into the Houston game, they asked him what he thought about him having 4 different pick sixes against the Houston Texans. And his response was, "I need to tackle better." So if you want to get your head coach's knee blown out, look, if you could find a betting line on that, if Kyle Shanahan takes the head coaching job in Jacksonville, it's a wrap.
That a history of pick-sicking zone quarterbacks. Blake Bortles is committed to tackling.
Exactly.
It's a match made in heaven, man.
Yep, exactly.
Although I just found out, so Tyrod Taylor is 24th or whatever in a bunch of quarterback stats, except ESPN QBR, he's 11th in the league.
That takes account of rushing, right?
It takes into account rushing, takes into account depth of passing, takes into account dropped interceptions, dropped touchdowns, I think. Pretty sure it does. Don't know about that.
Tyrod's not bad. It's just he's doing.
He lost Sammy Watkins, right? So he's throwing to Marquise Goodwin and broken Robert Woods.
I think everyone lost Sammy.
The world lost Sammy.
I think the world lost Sammy. But the thing is, what Tyrod Taylor is doing in Buffalo isn't that different from what Marcus Mariota is doing in Tennessee, outside of him being able to manipulate safeties with his eyes.
Yo, Marcus Mariota ranks 24th in ESPN QBR.
That's a horrible stat. I'll say this. Russell Wilson had more red zone interceptions against the Green Bay Packers this past season than Marcus Mariota has in his entire NFL career.
Dude, doesn't Russell Wilson only have red zone interceptions against Green Bay Packers?
I have no idea.
Because he threw.
The funniest thing to me was that game, and people were like, "Wow, Russell Wilson threw 5 interceptions against the Green Bay Packers. That's insane! He's never even come close to that." And people,
I thought only 2 of them were his fault, though, right?
Well, no. That's the thing is people are well, 2 of them were drop passes by his receivers. It's he still threw 3 interceptions. He threw 3 brutal interceptions against a horrible defensive back unit.
Yeah, but he's I think he's second in the league in fourth quarter comebacks. So I don't know. No, third. I forgot about Matt Stafford.
I wasn't aware that you believe in fourth quarter in QB wins. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
I'm just saying, man. I'm throwing all these stats out here just so I can find one that you consistently believe in. There's not a single one that thinks that both Tyrod Taylor and Marcus Mariota are good.
Just the eye test.
Is that how you gamble? The eye test?
Absolutely not. No, maybe I should though. Like honestly, maybe I should.
I gamble with the eye test. I test my own predictions and then determine whether or not they're good.
Here's a good question. Can you name the top 5 quarterbacks in ESPN QBR?
Matt Ryan, Tom Brady. Am I getting there? Are those 2 of the 5?
Yeah, those are 2 of the top 2. You got the wrong order, but that's fine.
Okay. If you want me to guess the order, I'll be screwed.
Yeah, I don't really care about the order.
So, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, who else is having a really good year? Stafford?
Nah. Why does he get so many fourth quarter comebacks? Because he has to throw them. He has to throw himself out of them to throw himself back into them.
Okay. Breeze Rodgers?
Nope.
Okay.
Ooh, I want to bite at the apple after you give up in failure.
I'm out. Those are the only 2 I could come up with is Matt Ryan and Tom Brady.
Wilson?
Like Andrew Luck? Is Andrew Luck doing it?
You said you're out. It's Dusty's turn.
Wilson, Bradford, and Prescott.
You got Prescott, not Wilson or Bradford.
Okay, I'm going to go with Breeze. I'm going to steal one from Justice.
But no, Breeze was already no. I already
no? Okay.
Prescott was number 3, by the way, so you guys got to guess number 4 and number 5.
Well, so Tyrod Taylor. No, he's 14th. We talked about that.
He's 11th.
11th. All right. Jameis Winston.
Nope.
Nope. All right, I give up.
Carr? Is it Carr?
Oh, stats don't like Carr.
It's fucking Kirk, huh?
No, I would never talk about QBR if they ranked Kirk high.
Okay. I have no idea, man.
Dude, it's Felipe Rivera and
it's
Big
Felipe
Cat.
Rivera.
Yeah.
We did it. Felipe Rivera, accidental Mexican Felipe Rivera with a bolo tie, 1,000 kids. He wears gloves and a helmet to work. Lives in Southern California. Yeah. But the thing is, he only turns into Felipe Rivera in the last minute of the game, or the last 2 minutes of the game. Like he has to transform. They made a deal. They made a deal where they were like, look, you're going to be better than Eli Manning for your entire NFL career. But the thing is, in the last 2 minutes of the game, you literally can only communicate with your receivers in Spanish. Look, if you really don't think that I'm serious about like the Browns being able to pull the upset on on San Diego this week, I asked. You guys know Caleb, right?
Yeah, Count
Caleb on Twitter. Yeah. I already have a Photoshop with Felipe Rivera having a sombrero on. Like it's.
Okay, but are you tweeting that out when San Diego loses, or are you tweeting it out regardless?
I'm tweeting it out when they go down in like the first quarter by like 2 touchdowns.
All right,
because that's exactly how that has to happen. Like the Chargers, no matter what, are going to be three touchdowns down in that Cleveland game, whether they win it or they lose it. They're going to be down 3 touchdowns. That's like Phillip Rivers is playing in one of those weird, like, you know, in NCAA where they're like, hey, here's like a mission basically. Like here's like this is what Doug Flutie had to do to like beat the University of Miami. Like that's like Phillip Rivers like auto setting.
It's the mission mode of NCAA.
Yeah. Yeah. Phillip Rivers is playing everything on Heisman.
Do you think if Eli never forced the team switch that Phillip Rivers would have 2 Super Bowl rings?
So I was thinking about that earlier when I was watching this Giants game, right? And we're just watching like Eli's arm basically die on live television.
Yeah, it was great.
God damn. If we're not going to have if we get LaTroy Guy on, his agent, and we get Archie Manning to run this minor league team, like this minor league league,
yeah.
Look, listen, that thing will go booming.
And also the agent that manipulated was the '83 draft with like Elway and Marino and.
Oh yeah,
let's
get this thing done. Let's get this thing done. This is the problem: is we got too many football people trying to run football leagues. Like we know anything.
That's actually true. That's an actual problem.
The problem is Al Davis set a precedent and everyone can't be Al Davis. So.
Also true. Oh, what's that guy's name? Also, before Al Davis, there's the Schramm guy that ran the Houston Oilers. Really good job.
Oh, yeah. Frank Schramm.
Yeah. Hank, not Frank.
Hank? Frank?
Hank.
Same thing.
Hank.
That's the same. Hank. That's the same name. If Trump isn't busy, I mean, we can get him to run. He has some experience running minor league football team.
How did that go, though?
I don't know. I guess not good.
What is our commitment to success? Do we have one? If so, then maybe not the president.
Yeah, he might be busy trying to avoid being president. I say that out loud. That's not good.
Oh no! Oh God! This. Yeah. All right. Let's bail on this and maybe go to the mailbag for a second before it gets to. I mean, not that the mailbag is any more on topic. Yeah, exactly. I want to get maybe like 5 more minutes of off-topic stuff out of you before.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. So Josh Bjork at Iowa_Josh on Twitter writes in, the worse Zimmer sees, the worse the team plays. Decide how true this statement is.
Oh, man. Justice already had this take. Now I can't argue against it.
Well, the thing is, do we know why Zimmer is blind right now? Because I still believe in the theory that he watched like Sam Bradford Supercut. And that's what did it.
All we know is that he had a retinal surgery at the beginning of November, and then he needed like 2 more surgeries. One of them was an emergency.
No, he had a detached retina, like from watching. I think it was while watching a game. Like he felt some like pain in the back of his eye during the week before the Jacksonville game, and then had to be like rushed to the hospital.
That was the 3rd surgery. That was the emergency one.
Oh my gosh! So we still don't know the origin story of his detached retina.
Someone had a video of Teddy Bridgewater's knee going out, and he puked out of his eye. That's what happened.
Puke everywhere. I meant that not as a literal statement. I meant it to set the tone. But there's puke everywhere.
Vitreous humor all over the place.
I think it happened right after the Chicago Bears loss. Oh, that's crazy. That makes sense.
I would lose an eye over that too.
And then he had his 2nd surgery, I think, after the Cardinals win?
Yes.
Huh.
That's probably just Bruce Arians. That's probably just Bruce Arians just trying to mess with him. Yeah.
All right, so he had an eye patch for the Cowboys game, right? Am I wrong about that? He had an eye patch for the Cowboys game?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, Cowboys game was the only one he didn't coach. That's it.
Yeah, that was only missed that Prefer was calling the play calls for and did a decent job, more or less.
Well, yeah, he was doing a decent job as a head coach, and then the special teams failed because there was 2 or 3 fumbles.
That's what happens when your special teams coach isn't there to micromanage special teams for one game or whatever.
That was like the Los Angeles Rams, where they're like, "Yo, we're gonna put our special teams coach as a head coach," and then John Ryan is running up the middle for 20 yards. Yeah, that's not really how that works.
But no, the Vikings played well as you can look against the Jaguars, right? I don't do you grade that one on a curve? I don't know, but he had an eye patch for that game, so I guess that's not true.
As well as you can look, that's a pretty rude pun.
Oh, god damn it! I didn't even mean that. Next question.
This one comes from our intrepid producer James. I had it just a second ago. Outside of the obvious answer of Brett Favre, which former Packers players had their best years for the Vikings?
It's got to be Longwell, right?
Yeah, probably.
Statistically, I think that's the number one choice.
Charles Johnson. I think that's factually correct.
Mr. Incredible. Indeed. Zen Cupid at ZenDBP writes in, who would be the Vikings ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, using any era Vikings figure?
Oh, man, I don't know.
It's Herschel, right?
Yeah, well... Okay, so...
I feel like
the ghost of Vikings past,
no,
right?
the true ghost of Christmas past for the Vikings would be Troy Aikman.
What? Because he was drafted?
Yeah. And then instead, like he was truly like a ghost for the Vikings. Like he ghosted us, like a first date would ghost you after an unsuccessful date.
I can't relate.
Yeah, you got to get first dates first, I guess.
There you go. Damn.
Yeah, so damn it. So that's striking. The Ghost Vikings president's obviously Adrian Peterson.
Clearly.
There's no question.
Ghost of Vikings future.
Teddy.
Laquan Treadwell.
No, it's Teddy because we don't know if he's ever going to play.
There might be a secondary argument for Cordero Patterson.
That's like an optimistic Ghost of Vikings future, though, isn't it?
That's because he wanted to be traded.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that's weird. I'm going to go with Teddy.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Cool.
Judd Zolgad's Hoodie at JZ Hoodie writes in, what do you consider the worst Christmas movie ever?
I don't really have thoughts on this, man. Worst?
The worst Christmas movie ever. There's a lot of them.
Oh, what's the one with Billy Bob Thornton? Bad Santa?
Okay, the first Bad Santa was pretty funny.
Bad Santa 2, then?
There's a second one?
Yeah.
There
made a
is
sequel.
a second one.
Okay, but I can beat you. Santa Claus, like Claus with an E. Santa Claus 2 with Tim Allen. Because they made...
Oh, no, you're right.
Have you guys...
Right.
What is it? What was the Adam Sandler one? The 8 Crazy Nights?
That was a Hanukkah movie.
One?
That was a Hanukkah movie. Doesn't count.
Oh, well. I must have missed the entire message of the movie then.
Well,
I think I see snow and I'm like, winter.
All I remember from that movie is that the first song was about boners. Morningwood, I think. Yeah.
Customary for Adam Sandler movies. But I'm going with Santa Claus 2 because they made 3 Santa Claus movies. And the first and the third ones were kind of funny, but the second one was really bad.
There's also some horror Santa Claus movies, aren't there? Where he's like...
Do we think, like, hot take, do we think, like Rudolph is a good one?
Like the Fuzzymation Rudolph?
Yeah. That's not entertaining. We don't have to lie.
I don't think it's awful.
That's a real, like you're really pulling against, like, decades of nostalgia at that point, and that's, like...
That's
like, we're evaluating it as, like, art by itself without, like, the nostalgia with it? No, I don't think it's that bad. You just got to, like, think of it as a kid's movie. Give it a couple of passes.
Yeah, exactly. And if we're going at it that way, then
significantly better. The Grinch is significantly
okay.
better.
But if we're looking at it objectively, all Christmas movies are terrible. Like, Christmas movies are like the worst genre of movies because you can only watch them for like 2 weeks a year, and even then, we're having like a discussion about which
you can watch Die Hard whenever.
Then that is the exception that proves the rule.
Also, Die Hard 2, Die Hard 3, not Die Hard 4. You can never watch that.
Live free or die hard.
A Christmas Story. I like that.
Also, no,
is that the one where he licks the thing?
Yeah.
Is that also the one where they're like, "You shoot your eye out"?
Yeah.
See, I've watched like every Christmas movie like one time, and I hate every single one of them.
Exactly. That goes to my previous.
Elf's chill. Elf's chill and the Grinch is chill. That's it.
Grinch is chill. Okay, if you haven't seen Toys, strongly recommend. Also, Scrooged.
Scrooged? I'm going to watch that immediately.
Yeah, it's Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd.
I'm in. I'm sold.
How have I not heard of this? Yeah, I'll watch it.
Oh my gosh, because you're a millennial. You guys missed out on so much. You don't even remember.
I think by
Ronald
most
Reagan.
definitions, you're a millennial too, so chill out.
That's hardly true.
Now, we talked about this on the show 8 million times. The real difference is between people who grew up with the internet and people who grew up with the internet like already extant.
Exactly,
So,
and you're on one side of the digital native divide, and I'm on the other.
I'm in between.
Yeah, okay.
I am.
You just
we use computers. I had computers in like elementary.
AOL, man.
Yeah, so like I remember like dial-up AOL. I remember
back when AOL's logo was green.
Like IAM. I remember that. I remember like we had like the old Apple computers in like elementary school, and they would be like, "Do not when you go on these websites and play like the math games, do not click the side ad thing that says you get a free 50-cent MP3."
All right. Well, when I was in elementary school, the Apple computers were like the Apple IIe's with like the green screens, and there was no network at all. You just had like big floppy
that might have been a
disks.
Grand Forks thing, though.
That's tough but fair. Judd Zolgad's Hoodie's follow-up question: what is the best dessert you can make for the holidays? He suggests Yule log cake, which, if depending on how many elements of dulce de leche it contains, I could potentially get on board with that. But that's probably not very like.
Can you hit that word again?
No,
say it again.
No, you're just gonna make fun of me.
This is what you guys got to bring me on. Best dessert you can make for the holidays: root beer float. Root beer float, because you can't go wrong with root beer floats. Root beer floats are undefeated. It's like bacon in hot tubs. The baseline for a root beer float is very high.
That's terrible. I love root beer floats. That's terrible.
I don't really like desserts. Like, I hate pies and cakes.
Wow.
Hashtag hot take.
It was really nice seeing you on your last Norse code ever.
Yeah, if you can't come down on one side of the pie versus cake argument, then I frankly don't know if I want to know you.
I get like an ice cream cake.
Ooh, which is a pie, technically.
Hit Dairy Queen. Is it actually like a log?
Yeah, it's a
pie.
Yeah, it's a frozen custard pie. There's no leavened like flour mixture in it.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Kind of like how cheesecake's actually pie.
Yeah.
Cheesecake's actually disgusting, is what that is.
Wow.
Wow, you're just...
Yeah.
This is why we keep having you on, despite our better angels.
Look at this Packers fan taking a strong stand against a cheese product.
Ooh.
I don't like cheese either. This has been known. I don't eat cheese. Any white sauce, I'm good. I'm good on that. Ranch.
No, hold on, Justice. You can't flex about being Mexican like you did like 10 seconds ago and be like, yeah, I hate cheese.
Yeah, I can. Because we actually don't put cheese on anything.
Yeah, Mexican cheese is different from like white people cheese. Like white people cheese is melty.
It's like goat cheese. Like that's the thing is like people drench things in nacho cheese, and I'm like, dude, what the hell is this Tex-Mex bullcrap?
Nacho cheese isn't cheese, but there's like a strong version of cheese in Mexican food. Like you know that.
No, that's a lot of Tex-Mex stuff. Look, this is how I know you're slipping right now. It's because of that. Like if you're getting cheese, it's like goat cheese. Yeah,
it's like some like Oaxaca or like queso fresco that won't melt no matter how long it sits in your molcajete. Like it's
Dusty's out. Look at Dusty.
That's still cheese. Am I wrong?
It is still cheese, but it's not the same.
It's not.
I didn't say it was.
I just had to redeem myself from my.
I just get offended when I see people like put wild amount of cheese.
But you think I'm talking about nacho cheese? I'm not.
Well, like even like shredded cheese, like cheddar, like whatever people put on their hard shell tacos.
When you go to the grocery store and they have like the Mexican blend of 3 shredded cheeses,
Oaxaca.
Yeah, exactly.
Tillamook,
you just drop
it.
Tillamook? Shouts to Tillamook, shouts to Oregon.
Oh my god. Anyway.
And actually, what's really funny is that Arif is in Vermont right now, so he's probably committing cheese crimes by like even speaking of cheeses from places that are not Vermont.
God, they're so uppity about their cheese here.
They're just frankly uppity about everything, especially
That's
that
true.
senator.
What, Patrick Leahy?
Did I tell you guys about this story? I could tell you guys about this. No, never mind. Not getting fired.
Let's save it for the post show. Let's save it till I can close this out, which I will do right now, and then we can save all the tidbits for the post show that regrettably our listeners will never hear in the Christmas episode, which will be dropping on Christmas Day. This has been Norse Code. This is actually episode 168. The last one was 167. Counting is hard, it turns out. Thank you so much to the great Justis Mosqueda. Force players and Setting the Edge
report.
Is the
Setting the Edge
podcast. Yes,
It's on iTunes now, right?
It is by accident. I'm not sure how it happened, but Charles did something.
Charles did all of it. It's not accident.
Absolutely,
he did work, and you're not aware of
people
how that works.
People kept asking me. People keep asking me, when are you going to get it on iTunes? Where can I get it to download? And
you're like, I don't know about any of that. Yeah. That's okay. That's actually the only reason that I am still employed by Norse Code LLC is because I know how to do all of that stuff, and that way Arif can be like, I don't know, it just sort of happens.
The more you can do, that's job security.
It's too much job security. There's no such thing as a replacement for old Dusty or our intrepid analyst and useful human Arif Hassan, who is at Arif Hassan NFL on Twitter. By the way, you can find Justice at JUMOSQ. It sounds weird when I say Jumosq, but that's kind of how it sounds.
That's why we do it.
That's not how you pronounce that syllable of your first name, or
Mosqueda.
It doesn't have anything to do with your actual name, but
it'd be like Jamosk.
Jamosk.
That's less fun.
Yeah,
that's true.
I am Dusty O'Connell at Dusty O'Connell on Twitter. You can find Norse Code at the Daily Norseman, of course, along with the entire Norse Code archive, and as well, NorseCodePodcast.com. Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/Daily Norseman. And of course, we are also on iTunes because I do things like that, as well as Stitcher and Google Play Music Podcasts, which is a tortured name. But anywhere else, fine podcasts are aggregated. You will find Norse Code. And you will find at least two of us returning after Christmas at some point to recap a game that Minnesota needs to win. And if you are foolish enough to believe Justis will win, but I did my best to like reverse voodoo his reverse trolling this entire time. So please make sure you check out all those Twitter handles and links. But until we see you again, spoons out.
Norse Code is the official podcast of the Daily Norseman SB Nation blog and is produced with cooperation from Pompous Jerk Productions. Pompous Jerk Productions. Attitude with attitude. The opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of their contributors and do not reflect official positions of the Minnesota Vikings, SB Nation, the Daily Norseman staff, or PJP. No information in this podcast should be construed as gambling advice. Please obey all local gaming laws.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.